What's going on, everybody? You are tuning in to another episode of Self Chats. I'm your host, Kat, and we are just going to go ahead and dive into this episode. I say that because I know I took a little break and I do apologize for not giving you guys a heads up, but things just been going, and I honestly wanted to make sure that what I put out on this platform, this podcast, is quality stuff, quality content. I just don't want to push things out for the sake of timeline and for the sake of an episode. I want to make sure that these episodes are helping the people who listen to this, because when I look back where I started and where I am now, I'm literally mind blown by what God has done. And I will say that the things that I go through. You know that I'm pretty transparent on this platform because I can't fake what I don't experience. I can't speak on things that I don't go through, because the wisdom that I obtain from these things that I go through comes from the process of going through it, going through the struggles, the tribulations, the challenges. I feel like I go through these things so that I can help and go back and grab the people who go through the same things and give them like strategies and gems and cheat codes so that you guys don't have to go through the struggle for as long as I did. You know what I mean? So maybe like I'm giving you ways to cut through the struggle. It's kind of like a cheat code in life, you know? And it's always been in my heart to do that for other people, because I don't want anyone to experience the struggles that I had to go through. But I feel like if they did, there is a better way to go through it, or an easier way. And it just has been on my heart to just pave the way for those who listen to my podcast, or who are drawn to, or who just need help, you know? So that's always been my heart, is to make sure that you don't have to go through those things that I had to go through, or there's easier ways to navigate those struggles, or strategies to cut through the BS, I guess. And some people, you know, want to sit in those struggles and tribulations, and that's fine. But this is strictly for people who don't want to experience those struggles any longer than they really have to. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. But it has been heavy on my mind to talk about our goals and our future for the upcoming year, because I'm sure all of you have visions and goals and plans of what you want to do and who you are working to become in this new year, in this new season. And when we do examine our life, I want us to think about how we think about ourselves and how we think about others. And what I mean by that is, like, what is the first thought that comes to mind when you think of yourself and when you think of your others, or when you think of others? Are they good thoughts, or are they negative thoughts? Is it the highest thought, or is it the lowest thought? You know, and I ask because how you show up in the world are the thoughts that run through your mind. And our goal is to unlearn the things that are not helping us, but we want to replace them with thoughts that are going to help us. And when you reach a certain level of success, there's emotions, there's feelings, there's things that you are experiencing. And you want to examine what you're feeling, and you want to examine the environment that you're in, because sometimes when you reach a certain level of success, you can physically be there, but your mind can be somewhere else. And you know, past traumas and trials that you went through in the past can creep up through your mind and take over and rob you from that moment that you're in, where you worked so hard on, where you had an opportunity to be where you're at. But these old voices, or these traumas are robbing you of that very moment. And so I think about my life and I think about how that happened to me. I always wanted to live in a high rise, and my little mind and the way that I thought was, I didn't think that I could ever get there on my own. And I was like, I'm just going to move in with someone who has a high rise so that I can live with them, right? But God was so kindly to bless me with my own place, and I was able to afford my own high rise. And I thought that when I got there that my whole life would change, like I have arrived. But when I got there, when I moved into my place, my environment changed, but my mindset was still the same. I was still in surviving mode. I was still in my past thinking habits. And I felt like it was robbing me of where God wanted to take me, which was in the abundance of where I was. He wanted to elevate my mind to be grateful and to feel, to have an abundance and wealthy mindset. But I was still in survivor mode. I was like thinking about, okay, how am I gonna pay for this, or how am I gonna do this? And so it was kind of like stressing me out, then instead of like helping me enjoy the moment that I was in, because I've been praying for it for so long. It was on my vision board. It was always in my prayers. I always envisioned it. And when it finally happened, I think my mind didn't catch up to where I was. So I think when those things happen, you really have to sit and examine where you are. And if they don't match up with where you are, to replace those thoughts with thoughts that you would have had. So I would say reevaluate where you are. And if your thoughts don't match up to that environment, replace them with thoughts of what you would think. And you've thought those thoughts before, because when you were envisioning where you wanted to be, you knew how you were going to act. You knew what you were going to wear. You knew what friends you were going to be around. You knew what foods you would eat. You knew everything because you've dreamt about it for so long. But when you get there, make sure your mind matches where you are, and don't let the past trauma, don't let the past narrative rob you from where you've worked so hard to be. And I just feel like when you are entering into a new season in your life, we may not feel equipped for the job. Sometimes things are foreign. Like when you get promoted, or you are in a new environment that you've never been before, you've never seen anyone do it before, you've heard about it, but no one's in your family has ever been where you at. So sometimes imposter syndrome might creep up and get the best of you. Those voices may be loud, and you may want to acquiesce and feel like you're not equipped to be in that room. But I will tell you that if the opportunity presents itself and you have made it into that room, you are supposed to be in that room. And there's something that lives inside of you that knows that you belong in that room. So you just got to tap into that person that you know is capable of being in that room, that you have the gift, you have the talent, you have the skills, you have everything you need to be in that room, but you just got to show up in confidence. I think a lot of people out here, when they do things, I think the difference between a confident person and an unconfident person is that a lot of people fake it till they make it, and some people just try. For me, I feel like I'm pretty confident in most things that I do, that I'm familiar and comfortable with. But if you put me in a room where my whole life I was told I could never do something, and you're not the best at it, but you can do it because the opportunity presented itself to you. One of the things that you can do is just meditate and pray before you get into that room. Another thing that worked for me, I'm going to be honest what really happened to me. So just going to dive right in. I have always wanted to do this certain task in my life. When I was growing up, I always wanted to sing, and I always wanted to be an entertainer, right? And but my family always, they were strict, so they always wanted me to go with the safe route. And I was presented an opportunity where I was able to utilize the things that I'm so passionate about. But my family have always told me that I was I couldn't do it, or I wasn't good enough, or I need to stop, or I was going to, I was not, they just basically were infiltrating negative thoughts in my mind ever since I was little. And ever since I was young. And so when the opportunity presented itself, those thoughts got louder and louder and louder because I stopped for a moment of exercising this gift that I was given. And when it came for me to perform or to execute this gift, which I'm so passionate about and I love, it is what saved me. It is what opened my eyes to the entertainment industry. I shut down, and because those voices were so loud. And I would wake up in the middle of the night, and I would wake up just like stressing about it, like, oh my God, I'm not equipped, or I can't do this. And really what you have to do is you have to combat those thoughts immediately. I tried. Honestly, I tried. I prayed, I worshiped, I sang songs, I tried to dance. I tried to change my mood so that I could not think about not being able to do what I've been presented to do. And it comes down to imposter syndrome. Like, those thoughts are real, and there's things that you can do to overcome them. Some of the things that I was taught and I was doing was, first, you need to take control of your mind. If those negative thoughts come, you have to take them captive and replace them with a positive thought. You have to replace them with things that you've heard that are good, that are going to motivate you, or that are going to inspire you, or that are going to replace that feeling of not being equipped to get the job done. Another thing that you can do is have people pray for you. One practical tip that works for me is to breathe, take deep breaths until you feel peace, and then go into the situation with a clear mind. Those are some things that have helped me. And honestly, if it really wasn't for my community, I think that is the main thing that has helped me overcome, because you have to have people in your life who see you. I've been saying this for so long because it is what literally works for me, is the people in my life see me. You have to surround yourself with people who see you, see your gift, and where you're going. You never want to be around people who are going to talk bad about you or add salt to the wound. Like, people who know you're already hurting. You don't want to be around people who are going to say those things to you that were going to continue to bring you down. So having an environment of people who see you, who will affirm your gift, who will talk you out of that hole that you're in, is so important. I think as we go into the new year, we really have to evaluate the people that we let around us, because those people are going to be the people that are going to help us get to where we need to be. And they're a reflection of our success, because there will be times when you can't advocate for yourself and you need people in your life who are going to advocate for you and tell you who you are. And you have to believe it. The main thing is belief. If you don't believe it for yourself, then other people won't believe it, and you yourself won't believe it. It's going to show up in your day to day. It's going to show up when you step into work, or when you are called to do things that you're supposed to be doing. So use the things that would help you. I would say go back to your affirmations. Keep saying them until they're embedded into your subconscious mind, so that when you wake up every morning, you know who you are, and just keep combating those thoughts. Whatever you do, just keep using these exercises so that you can show up the highest version of yourself. This coming year, the highest version of you, all your gifts and your talents are going to be required of you. There is a demand on each and every one of your gifts this coming year. We've got to be the best versions of ourselves. We got to go out into the world and just take on and embrace everything that God has for us, because we are supposed to be operating in what we're called to do. We're not put on this earth to just live, wake up, go to work, come home and sleep. We have a special purpose for each and every one of our lives, and it is our goal to figure it out and to execute it with excellence. So imposter syndrome is going to come no matter what. Whatever level you're at, some form of it is going to creep up, but we have the tools, we have the strategy of what we can do to overcome those things. And I really hope that this episode has given you guys some strategies, some tips, and things that you can do. The main thing is your mind. Your mind is the most powerful tool in your whole entire body. So if you can just take control and unlearn the bad thoughts, unlearn the bad things that don't serve us, and replace them with things that do serve us, then you are on the right track to where you want to go. Anything in your mind, anything that you want to do, if you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. And you just have to keep telling yourself that. The main thing is belief. Believe that you can do it, and find little things to help you when you start to doubt. The main thing is keeping the main thing the main thing. But I really hope that this episode opened your eyes of that not everybody has it all together. And sometimes the people who seem like they have it all together, they're dealing with things that they don't talk about. But if you just address them and work through them with people who love you and who are for you, you're going to go and experience the greatest life you could ever live, the greatest life that you've ever imagined. So I am so excited for what this upcoming year is going to bring everyone that listens, everyone that's hearing this. So I pray that you will send me your testimonies or your successes. But as we end this episode, I want to remind you, if you haven't already, to subscribe to this YouTube channel or to follow us on Instagram for all the latest updates and everything. So until the next time, I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.